Good evening, namaste or adab. I, Shweta Malhotra, welcome you all to our special Meet the Author session. And today we have with us a very young man who's a prolific writer, a TEDx speaker, and a successful entrepreneur. So let me tell you a little more about him. Our today's guest is Kevin Missal, who started his writing journey at the age of 14 with his debut novel, Damien Black, The Battle of Lost Ages. His literary works have topped the best-selling charts on Hindustan Times bestseller and Asian Age bestsellers. He has written 15 best-selling novels, which include the Narasimha Trilogy, Kalki Trilogy, Raavanputr Meghnad, Yama, Karna, The King of Anga, Sinbad Series, Devi Series, and many, many more. Some of his books have also been turned into audiobooks. Kevin has worked with top publishers in India, including Fingerprint Publishing, Harper Collins India, Simon and Schutzer India, and Penguin Random House. Translated into 6 languages, his books have gained wide recognition and popularity. There's much more to know and to talk about Kevin. So let's meet this young author. Hello, good evening, Kevin.
Hi.
Thank you so much, Kevin, for giving us your time. It's really an honor for us to have you on our show.
Great to have you. Glad to be here, Shweta. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Kevin, we have seen your books, we have read your books, we have seen the work that you have done. And so we have a lot of questions to ask you to know about your journey. So let me start with the very basic question that I want to ask you first. The biggest challenge that you face while writing all these timeless tales. So please share that with us first.
Biggest challenge has always been to make sure that my readers are happy with what I'm doing. As you said, that as you explained in the introduction, I've written almost 15 books. So having that consistency is very important.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of energy. That takes a lot of. So that's been a huge challenge. Even now, I'm writing a book on Krishna. How to make it appealing, how to make it new, how to make it different. So this has been always a big challenge for me. But yeah, it's fun. It's interesting. That's what being a writer is.
And
Facing
your
challenges and overcoming them.
Absolutely, that's true. And your every book is a bestseller. So obviously, the expectations of the audience, the expectation of the readers is also increasing with each and every book that you are giving. So how do you manage to deal with those expectations? Do you take it as a pressure? It creates some pressure on you, or you take it as a motivation?
No, I always take it as a motivation. I never take it as a pressure at all. I think I always make sure that they're happy, and somehow you kind of understand what the readers want. So that I got that as well. So no, I don't take it in any way, any kind of pressure for me, for myself. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. That's nice. And let's talk about your books also. We have, seen all these bestsellers there everywhere on Amazon and all the applications and everywhere there. It is there in the market. So, what prompted you? First, I want to talk about the Kalki trilogy. So, what prompted you to, make him as the primary theme of your book?
Uh, Primarily because no one had ever written about him. Kalki Avatar was always something which people thought ki kuch aayega down the road. But that's something that and Kalki Avatar in its sense is very interesting because एक तो आखिरी अवतार है विष्णु जी के एंड उनका ज़्यादा ज़्यादा कुछ लिखा हुआ नहीं है क्या है किन से लड़ाई करते हैं क्या उनको प्रॉब्लम्स आई है तो ये बोला जाता है कि जो मुझे बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग लगा वो ये था कि जितने भी चिरंजीव थे वो एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दे आर वेटिंग फॉर कल के अवतार टू कम so he was such a big deal and then there was a scenario where I was reading about it and Parvati ji said to Shiv ji ki aap why are you going to one of the he was going to someone. Why are you going to him? You're Lord Shiva, you know. So why are you going? And he said ki I'm going to Lord Vishnu, who's the protector of everything. So these all
Right.
things very interesting. So everyone wanted to write about Shiva. Shiva has always been the cool god, as people have termed him as. And here I wrote about Vishnu, who was not really a cool god, I would say, but someone who was really because I was a very guy who always wanted to write about good versus evil, and he represents everything that is good in this world, which is Vishnu ji. तो उनके बारे में लिखना, फिर कल की हफ्ता इसलिए चूज किया, किसी ने लिखा नहीं, तो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ फैक्टर्स इनटू इट, which factors worked for me, and that was it. Yeah.
So were you always, influenced by mythology and all these characters, or it was a sudden interest that aroused somewhere?
So it was always interesting to be honest. I've been a huge fan of myths and legends from every culture, to be honest, from Roman to Greek to Norse, and obviously I went into Hinduism. And what I really loved about Hinduism was, especially the Hindu myths, is that it's a practicing religion. You know, like lot of myths that you read, like Greek myths, they are not really practicing now. They were relic of the ancient past. But here we are respecting them, we are honoring them, we are caring for them even now, even today. So
Right,
the
right.
idea was that is what like really brought me into this, and that is what got my interest into this. Yeah.
Okay. And what was your challenge when you wrote your first novel at the age of 14? Like, that's a very young age. So, what challenges did you face at that time?
One of the basic challenges which every young writer would face is to be taken seriously. कि ऐसे सही लिखी नहीं लिखी
Right, right.
इसमें that's a big challenge, to be honest, and that is something that I definitely made sure that it is understandable, because a lot of publishers, they don't take you seriously. If you are a young writer, probably they think copy kiya aapne. So that's what happens. But yeah, in a way that works, because I started writing at a young age, but I became a full-fledged writer at the age of 21. So it took some time. Uh, yeah, hi, sorry, call again.
Uh, that's
So yeah, so I became a full-fledged writer at the age of 21. So that's what I would say. Really, all those 6 7 years, they became like kind of my learning curve
a
for
learning
my,
journey. Yeah.
learning curve for my writing. Yeah.
So, that maturity in writing that seeped in through with the time only. Yeah, that's great. And as we have read that you have written this Narasimha Trilogy, which is full of varied emotions and actions. There's ego, there's power, there's vengeance, there's greed, and so many other things. And it's a very fast-paced story. So how did you maintain that? Like from one volume to the another, to the second and to the third, how did you maintain that?
I think is to just have fun, to be honest. One of the basic problems with writers nowadays is that they don't have fun writing what they're writing. So
Right.
have fun, have a ball, and that's about it, to be honest. Yeah. So that's how you maintain that sense of uh, good and great storytelling. Because most writers, even now, like for let's take Stephen King, for instance. Stephen King is a writer who's been writing for the last 40, 50 years now. Right. And even now, when you hear his interviews and everything, he's having fun with what he did. So yeah. So at the end of the day, have fun, and you'll be able to figure out your nuances. If you're not having fun, you're taking it as a pressure. फिर वो दिखता है किताब पे.
Right, right. Absolutely. That's true. So, from mythology to fantasy, from all these trilogies to Sindbad. So, how did that happen? And why did you choose Sindbad only for your, the main character, something which is very famous and iconic characters of the Arabian Nights?
So I think everyone has grown up, listening. Especially my generation has grown up listening to Sinbad the Sailor, Aladdin,
Yeah,
Ali
yeah.
Baba, right? So उनके टीवी shows आते थे, उनके कुछ ना कुछ animation आते थे. So it's always been a something which, and I got to know then later on that Sinbad is in public domain. So I'm like, oh, great! So I can write about it. I don't have to take anyone's rights to do it.
Right.
So मेरे को लगा यार this is a dream come true, and Penguin India was kind enough to basically take a bet on us. So yeah, I'm like ठीक है, you know what, let's give our best. So that was one of the major reasons. Again, my entire idea is to have fun with what I'm writing, and Sinbad is one of the major I would say inspirations and major topics of fun for me. Yeah, when I'm writing.
So, you actually at that time you targeted the younger generation with these series.
Yeah. See, even when you read Sinbad, for instance, even you will enjoy it. Even I will enjoy it. It's not something that I want to focus just on children. I don't want
Right.
to. While yes, definitely it has PG-13 material, no doubt about it. It is at the end of the day a fun. story for all ages, to be honest. So that's what I kept in mind. I don't want to limit to an audience. I have heard a lot of old people reading Sinbad and are loving it, to be honest. Yeah. And third part is actually releasing. So third part is releasing in July. So yeah.
That's wonderful. We'll be waiting anxiously for that as well. So, did you had any, you can say a different kind of an experience while writing Sindbad? Anything special that happened while this writing this fantasy fiction?
Uh, I wouldn't call it special, but I think I was just very much enamored by the entire Islamic history. So that is something that I learned a lot. Obviously, as a history student, I was always into it, uh, but that is something I got to know more. That is something I learned more about. So I think that is something that definitely, I wouldn't say it's special, but it's something that is something new that I learned. And with Sinbad, I tried to also extend and stretch the limits of imagination. So, like the third part, for instance, uh, goes it basically talks about the multiple universes. It's like Marvel. So,
Right.
what I wanted to do was I wanted to talk about and write about these aspects because Sinbad as a genre and so as a topic also, it helped me to expand my base in terms of my writing. It helped me to expand my writing, I would say, abilities and the topics that I wanted to talk about. These are things that it helped me to do it. Because with mythology, what usually happens is you have a structure in all
Right.
which is already existing, and you should not go out of that structure. But with Sinbad, sorry, sorry, yeah, sorry, yeah. So with Sinbad, uh, that's not the case.
Okay. And what about the duology, Durga and Kali? Please talk about that also. We would like to know more about it.
So Durga is again. It talks about what I loved about the entire concept of Durga was like people, my readers were like after my life saying that you write about a lot of male gods. Why don't you write about a male goddess? So I'm like, what I'm gonna try, and who better to talk about Durga Ma? So that was the major and the one female goddess who's celebrated widely across the nation, right?
Yes.
So
Yes. True.
that so I want to talk about her. And what was interesting, when I started reading about her, I got to know that she's one of those goddesses who was created by men, which is like all the gods came together to create a goddess. किसी ने उनको सॉरी किसी ने उनको त्रिशूल दिया, किसी ने उनको कुछ दिया, क्या दिया, whatever. So with it, I felt that there was a lot of dynamics that were into play, especially when it comes to male and female role,
Right.
and how Durga took on itself and defeated the Mahishasura, how she was created by men. So there were a lot of facets to it, right? Even when you look at Christian mythology, for instance, Adam and Eve. Eve was created out of Adam.
Correct.
I think a rib of something कुछ था उनका part था जो उनका निकाल के God had created Eve. So same with what I'm trying to tell you, that there's a lot of dynamics into how women are created, like how goddesses are created. So these are the things that are very interesting, and how it kind of translates to today's entire social dynamics between man and woman. So that is something I wanted to talk about.
Okay, that's great. That's really nice. So, from your the way the journey your journey started from the age of 14 till now. So, what do you feel you have changed as a writer, as an author, as your writing skills have changed? What changes have you observed there?
I think I become more structured. I think I become more structured, more focused, more process driven, rather than just going haphazard. Because writing in itself is a art of discipline. If you're a
Right.
writer, you're a disciplined person. Because it forces you to be disciplined. You cannot, otherwise you'll have a very bad novel in your hand.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's one of the major reasons why I'm able to continue that consistency is because I have been disciplined, and it has forced me to be disciplined again. So yeah. So that's what I've done. Is I've become more process driven. I became more consistent.
Right. And according to you, what are the core elements of a good novel?
I think good characters, good plot, and good theme.
Okay, great. And please tell us about Hubhawks also. Like these days, if you're writing something, of course, the marketing plays a very important role in making that, expanding the reach of the book. So, how does work in that manner?
Hubbox is primarily about. It talks about what we wanted to go was we started out as a marketing agency, but now we have become a full service agency where we help you from editing to even distribution for that matter. So we are no more just a marketing agency. We've pivoted from that. We have expanded our repertoire of services. We have started our own publishing house. So our entire objective with Hubbox is that our industry as a publishing industry is a very fractured industry. A lot of
Right.
players are into it. So our idea is that we want to bring all of it together into one place. So centralization of services of all kinds. Like right now, what we're planning to do is just prior to this call, actually, I was in a meeting to discuss for partnership of centralization of schools and colleges. So centralization, one-stop destination. These are the very important facets and principles that we at Hubbox follow.
Right, absolutely. That is something very, very important and need of the hour as well.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, when can we expect your next book? Like you told us about the last book of the Sinbad series in July. Anything else that is coming up now?
Yeah, my audiobook is releasing. It's called Vikram and Vetal. It's an audiobook original by Audible. It'll be releasing. It was supposed to release in April, but I think we've gone too late now. Probably it's going to be released in June, July. So, yeah, Vikram and Vetal is one of the most fun books I've wrote. Again, I had a lot of fun writing that. Vikram and Vetal is, again, I'm sure you know about Vikram and Vetal,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
story. But where I talk about it is it's a vampire apocalypse featuring it's a vampire story within that ancient
Okay.
framework of a Vikram and Vetal. So that's the interesting aspect because that's the first call I got from Audible. Like, listen, Kevin, we want you to write on a vampire story. So I said, and we want you to do something with Vikram and Vetal. So I said, how come Vetal is not a vampire? So how do you make it
Yeah.
a vampire? So that's where but it's very fun. You'll definitely enjoy listening to it.
Sure, sure. I'm sure. Even, just a little introduction about it is creating those inquisitiveness, to have that book, the audiobook, to hear that audiobook very soon with that. So that's really nice, Kevin. Anything else, Kevin, that you want to share with the young writers who are aspiring, who want to be an author in the near future? So, any suggestions that you would like to give to them?
Consider yourself as an entrepreneur. Invest in the book, and if the book is good, you'll get returns. If the book is not good, you'll not get returns. It's that simple as that. So focus on that and definitely read more. Because if you read more, you'll become a better writer. It's like sharpening your blade to fight in a war, right?
Right.
You need to sharpen your blade to fight in a battle, and reading is like sharpening your blade. So
That's wonderful. That's a beautiful, line and a message that will go with us all our lives. So thank you so much for sharing that with us,
thank you.
Kevin. And it was really wonderful talking to you about your books, your work, and your journey. So thank you so much for giving us
Thank
your
you.
time, Kevin.
Thank you, Shweta, for this wonderful session. And I wish I could have been in a better lighting and better space. But thank you for bearing that with me. But I'm very excited to share this on my Facebook as well. And thank you guys, whoever's watching. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
Bye bye. Bye bye.